hours. Mentor Mitr. Mentor Mitr is a mentoring organization. Our aim is to guide individuals wherever they are in their journey of career development and help them learn skills to manage complex situations. Our involvement helps students and working professionals to set the right goal and enable them to define and manage their priorities as well as enhance their emotional quotient. Now we welcome our first speaker, Sasha Bayack. Sasha Bayack is an ethics consultant and a compliance and legal professional who believes in the application of good ethics and civility practices for the benefit of today's society. Ms. Bayack holds an undergraduate law degree and a postgraduate law degree from the University of Kent at Canterbury and Queen Mary, University of London, respectively. She is passionate about the coaching and mentoring young people to achieve their dreams. We welcome you, ma'am, and would like you to please enlighten our audience.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, Krishna. Is it Krishna? Or is it Anchal? Good afternoon, everyone. Or good evening, I should say. My name is Sasha Bayack Oquaye, as our host has told you. And so, Anchal, what would you like me to say? Just introduce myself or start the topics?
Ma'am, you can directly start with the topics.
Okay, great. So yes, today, as you all know, we're talking about fears, dreams and fears, dreams or fears, and what drives us. Which one of them drives us? So why is it that people with dreams have fears too? Well, in my opinion, dreams cannot be had without having fears. Because I believe, firstly, even the word dream. Oh, there is some background music. Okay, let me just. Okay, I just need to turn that off 1 second. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I think that's better now. Great. Yes, so as I was saying, I believe, firstly, dreams cannot be had. We can't have dreams without having fears. I feel that our fear in itself, our dreams in itself, comes as a result of our fears, right? Because firstly, we're afraid of not being successful, for example, not achieving the things maybe our parents want us to achieve, or we believe in ourselves we need to achieve. So that is a fear that I think it's in all of us, and it's inevitable in that fear is not necessarily a bad thing, which I would come to next. It is something that can actually drive us, because without the fear of failing or not achieving, we cannot have a dream, because our fear is based on not meeting our dreams or achievements. I also want to talk about the word dream in itself. The dictionary meaning of dream, it's a verb, as we know, when we're asleep, it's our unconscious mind whilst we're asleep. That is dream. We're having a dream. It's a verb. But what we're talking about today, which I want to emphasize, is not that type of dream, because that type of dream really is not to do with our aims in life and our ambitions. the dreams we're talking about today is the other meaning of dreams, in that our ambition and our goals. So sometimes I stay away from using the word dream, because I feel that in some ways, there's a saying that goes something like, a dream without a plan, or a goal without a plan is a dream, meaning it's not something that is really going to be achieved. But normally when we say the word dream, or we think of it, someone who's a dreamer, we know that they just talk a lot. They have a lot of plans and talk, but they don't actually put the plans into action. So a dream without a plan or an action, if you can just, remember this most of all, a dream without a plan or an action is really nothing. It's just something you have in your subconscious that is not going to become a reality. So we have to be careful, firstly, with the word dream in itself. So what we're talking about here in this session is a dream as in ambition. Let's think of the words more of an ambition and a goal when we talk about dreams. So without fear, we can't have our dreams. So the reason why people with dreams have fears too is because they're usually very ambitious. And another thing I want to say is that dreams should be, or ambitions or goals should be something that is attainable. Sometimes a dream can be something so far-fetched that in reality, we really can't actually see it, because we know it's really not attainable. It's not, we cannot measure it. We cannot really feel it or see it, or we cannot even think of what actions or steps we have to put in place to get to that dream, because it's just way out. So for me, it's important for young people in careers, to really think about what is your dream going to be? What is your dream or your goal or your ambition? And what are the actions you're going to take? Are there actions you can take? If there are no actions you can take, then really perhaps you will need to, reconsider. Dreams need to be actionable and measurable, that you can see you're taking the steps towards it. Okay, so that's why the word ambition and goals is what I want you to get more than the word dreams. So people with such ambitions or goals have fears when it is really unreachable. They have fears because, we all want to achieve the things we think are success. It is also, dreams are also to do with what is success to you. It's different for everyone, and it's different at different times in our lives, and depending on what we're going through, what stage we're at in our life. So at each point in time, we have to think, okay, what is our goal or ambition for this year, for example, or for next year, or for the next 5 years of my life? 5 years time, what do I want to achieve? Okay, so yes, so they need to be actionable. And the reason why people have fears is because sometimes dreams are just that, dreams that are unachievable, unattainable, and they cannot even put things in place to get there. So fears come about naturally. So what is the positive? These are the topics I'm going to be discussing. What is the negative side of dreams? What is the positive side of fear? How can an individual balance both and win in life despite having dreams and fears? So we can move on to the next slide. Okay, so I have discussed some of this already in terms of having a dream really means having a fear. But I think that really when your what is in your head or your mind or your vision is not just a dream, as in the sense of something unattainable, unmeasurable. There nothing in your mind that you can work towards that, then it's a dream and it's not real. And it cannot happen. So your dream have to be realistic. Your ambitions and goals have to be realistic. And I think when they are, the fear subsides. Fear is always there, in fact. I mean, we're human and fear is there. It is, even if public speaking is the number one fear in the world, of most people in the world. Apparently, people fear public speaking. Research has shown people fear that more than death, for example. So it's part of us having fears. But when your ambitions or goals are realistic, are measurable, are actionable, you can put things in place on a monthly, yearly basis to say, this is where I want to get to, and these are the steps I'm going to do to get to that place, then your fear will subside. Especially as you see yourself step by step, you can see you're getting closer. Fear subsides. Yes, so as I said, what are dreams? And should they be called dreams? As I said, there are two definitions of dreams. The verb dreaming when we're asleep, that's in our subconscious. Sometimes we don't have control over that. Those are dreams. And then there are dreams where in my own definition, dreams that are unattainable because there are no actions you can take towards them. They're unrealistic and they are dreams. And then for me, I prefer using the word ambition and goal for the dreams where we have a vision and we can work towards it realistically. We can put things in place. We can move to the next slide. What is the positive side of fear? This is a very interesting question because I think for the most learned speakers, because it's something we don't often address or we don't even think about, that there's a positive side to something as negative as fear. And I think the fact that we're all such aware of fear, everyone talks about it all the time, fear, fear, fear. We have fear of this, fear of heights, fear of not achieving, fear of failing, fear of putting ourselves out, in public, fear of what people will think about us, things like that. It's everywhere in all of us every day. So why don't we ever talk about the positive side of those things, of those fears? So you must firstly recognize your own fears. It's personal to everyone, I believe. You must recognize what are your fears. Usually your fears are linked to what your ambitions are. Funnily enough, that's why fears are such stumbling blocks, because it's usually linked to what you really want to achieve in life. So you must recognize what they are. And then perhaps when you recognize your fears and you understand your fears, on the other side of that fear, you must know that that is really your big breakthrough, to be honest. In my own experience, I'll give you an example. I had a fear of public speaking and, putting myself in the public. I love speaking, but more on a one-to-one basis. But, starting a new business, my business is about 3 years old, and it just sort of took off maybe in the last year because COVID happened just when things were picking up. But that was my number one fear. And I knew that this fear is really going to mean the business is not going to work. It's not going to be successful and I'll just be wasting my time. So knowing that that was my fear, I knew that if I took the courage to break that fear or deal with that fear, recognize it and understand it and work on it, I knew that that would be my breakthrough to my success. So usually whatever you're afraid of doing, whether it's, you're afraid of what people will say, if you just for 1 second or maybe for one day, just behave as if you really don't care, sort of thing, as in what people would think, and you're going to do this. And you will see that, the people who understand you and appreciate it will be there and will be on your side. So it's just a matter of understanding and recognizing your fears understanding them and knowing that at the other side of overcoming that fear, it may not happen overnight, and that's fine. It will take time, it takes work. But on the other side of that fear is usually your success and your breakthrough. I will say maybe 98% of the time, that's the case. If you look into what someone's fear is, those are the things that are stopping them from being successful. Because that's how our mind works. What we want most of all in life, what we want to achieve most of all, fear will come in with respect to those things more than anything else. You will have the biggest fear in those areas, on those parts of maybe your personality or your skills set that you need to work on. The fear will be greatest there. So you should know that, okay, those are the areas I need to work on in order to get my breakthrough. So this is the way you have to look at and approach fears. If you want fears to work for you, if you want it to be a positive thing, because this is how I see it, as it can be a positive thing. Next slide, please. So what is the negative side of dreams? As I mentioned, dreams versus goals. I prefer to use the word goals because I think they're usually more attainable, and we kind of think of them in a different way, and we can put steps beside our goals to get to our goals. We can put action steps in place to get to our goals, rather than a dream is usually something that is maybe very far-fetched. And if you cannot put anything against that dream to get to the dream, any plans, any actions, then it's a dream. If you can put things against that dream to get to it, then it's a goal. So that's where I see it's dreams versus goals. So you need to also understand in your own personal life, what are your dreams? Maybe, for example, you want to be an accountant, but you hate math. You really, really, really hate math, and you're terrible at math. You really hate it and you're terrible at it. So is that really a goal? Yeah. So it's just we need to assess ourselves in terms of all the things we want in our lives, whether they're a dream or a goal. Because the worst thing is wasting time also on things that are unrealistic and are not going to happen. So it's really a matter of individuals must be true to themselves, be true to yourself in terms of your skills, but also know that the skills you're missing, the gaps can be filled if you're willing to work on it, as I said, if you can put actionable steps to overcome those fears or skills you're missing, for example. So yes, don't be a dreamer. A dreamer is the word verb, dreaming. We all go to bed and we dream of things that could probably never happen. We have wild dreams, or dreams we're in the clouds, floating on a cloud and things like that. Those are dreams. Maybe in another realm they happen, or they will happen in another life. But as we've experienced life right now on this earth, we know that there are limits, and we should know what are really dreams and what are goals. And we shouldn't be dreamers. Don't be a dreamer as well, as in, don't spend a lot of time just thinking about what you want to do. I've done that a lot. Because I could have started my business a long time ago, but I was a dreamer for many years, and I think I wasted a lot of years. But as they say, it's never too late, right? It's never too late to start. You're never too old to start. I could have started it when I was younger. I wish I did. But it doesn't matter now, because all the things I've been through before, they were stepping stones to get me to this level. So sometimes, things may take a while, but try not to be a dreamer for too long, especially if you're really passionate about something. Put things in place, even if it's little steps. Maybe you want to be a musician in 10 years' time, or maybe when you retire, you think you would like to be, a musician playing a certain instrument. Why not start now? Don't wait for 10 years. Slowly, you can practice maybe once a week, once a month, whatever it is. But, it's just about working towards the goals, long-term goals and short-term goals. And you should have both. I think everyone should have a mixture of long-term and short-term goals, right? Short-term is, let's say, the next year, next 2 years, or even next 6 months, 1 month. Long-term would be 5 years, next 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, when I retire, etc. What are the goals? And then, what things have been put in place. So start now. Don't be a dreamer. Okay. Next slide. How can an individual balance and win despite having both? Okay, so this is an individual, and this is all of us, I believe, having both, because we're all human, and we all have dreams, and we all have fears. How do we balance both? And the topic today is, what drives us? Which one drives us? I think they can both drive us realistically. They both do. So we want to redefine the term dream, as I said, to goals, ambitions. Make them goals and ambitions. If they really cannot be made goals and ambitions, it's okay. If you really think, if you take a true reflection of it and you feel that this is really just a dream because there's nothing really I can do towards this, or I'm not even willing to do anything towards this realistically, being real to yourself, then it's a dream, and you shouldn't be a dreamer and spend years on it. So redefine it into a goal where it can be turned into a goal. And redefine the term fears. Okay, this is how you can win if you have both, balancing both. Redefine fears as well. Which is, what are fears? Fears are something that is holding us back. We're afraid of doing something. It's usually in our subconscious, because usually it's not something that's real, because it hasn't happened as yet, but we're afraid that it will happen. We have it in our head. It's not a real thing. It really is not a real thing, fear. It's something that we are perceiving it's going to happen. This is not going to work out. But you haven't even started, but you're thinking it's not going to work out. It's not going to happen. People are going to laugh at me. People are going to look at me funny. What are people going to think? People are going to judge me. Things like that really limit us in terms of achieving our goals and our ambitions. So you have to really redefine the term fear. That is, think about it differently. Know that behind fear, as I said, it's what is going to get you to your next level, to that breakthrough. Always. The things you're worried about, the people you're worried about, if you put all that aside and get over that, you will see how things, because I've seen it happen in my own life, in worrying about what people will say, what people will think, what are they, but just be your true self. Don't be afraid to be your true self, because behind that is the breakthrough, is the next level. So redefine fear totally into, when you think of the word fear or anything negative comes into your mind or you're scared, just think, if I overcome this, this is where my success is. And that should get you through. So should we have both dreams and fears? Yes, we should. As I said when I first began, it's actually inevitable. I believe we cannot be in this world that we're in, live in whichever country, whichever society or culture we're in. We cannot be carrying on a normal life without having both, because it's part of us. It's part of us. Even if it's based on our dreams or goals are based on what someone else wants for us, it's still a dream or a goal, right? So it's there. They're both there, dreams, and then our fears will be there as well. Because the fears will be, oh, what if I don't achieve this goal or this ambition? I don't have the skills, so I don't feel confident. I don't think I'm good enough. If you don't have the skills, then you can go and get the skills. As I said, put action steps in place to get the skills and be real and true to yourself. So you don't be a dreamer for years and years, pursuing things that are not realistic or are not true to you. Okay, as I believe that we should really learn from other people's mistakes. So I always try and learn from people who have, done similar things that I want to achieve. And I will speak to them to see, okay, how did you get there? What are the hurdles? What are the mistakes you made? Because there's no point sometimes doing the same mistakes twice. We must learn from those who have done it before. So yes, we should have both dreams and fears, because fears propel us. It depends on how you look at it. As I said, you have to rethink it totally, knowing that it's your breakthrough if you overcome it. So why do we need both? As I said, we need both simply because they have to work against each other. They work against each other as well as they work together, if that makes sense. They are connected. Without dreams, we will not have any fears. You need to be ambitious. You need to have goals in life. Because without those, you become complacent, you become lazy-minded, you lose, you don't have a growth mindset any longer, things like that, just because you don't have any real ambition or goal. So the combination of dreams and fears must be there in order for us to be, I guess the word is active-minded. You're looking for things to work towards. You should always have goals for every year or every 5 years, and then you have things to work towards. Otherwise, the mind literally becomes dead. I don't think it's healthy, mentally and even physically in the long run. And it helps us to be disciplined. We have dreams and goals and ambitions because it helps us be disciplined. It helps us plan our time, plan our next year, plan what we're going to do, maybe plan what courses we need to take. For example, plan how much money we need to save. If it involves having some money to pay or whatever it is, it helps us be more disciplined. And, we never want to stop learning. That's what I believe. So yes, we should have both dreams and fears, and we do need both for those reasons. Is that the last slide, Anshal? I'm not sure. Okay, this last one. My take on the subject, I think I've said quite a bit to give you an idea of what I think, my own personal opinion on how we should look at dreams, goals, ambitions, how we should look at fear, and how we should use them both to, succeed in life. So always have goals, and it should be, goals that are achievable. Yes, they should be higher than your everyday goals, but they should always be achievable, attainable, and actionable. Have an ultimate goal. What is your ultimate goal? The ultimate goal, I think, in life should be, being happy. And there's a lot of question around, does success make happiness, or does happiness make you successful? So that is something personal to everyone, but the ultimate goal is to being happy. And being happy is enjoying what you do on a daily basis, enjoying your career. So, looking to be realistic about what you like doing, what, you're passionate about. And then I think happiness comes from all of that. Things change over years as you grow, as your age becomes, you become older, you have a family, your idea of what you enjoy and what you're passionate about